Inside Story Uganda, real source of political updates. Inside Story Uganda.
Nze jagana sema kwa Tamale
kava mukusoma birango byabafu
mu studios ejero ko impact
kayo musikamba
FM
nekajobojja tusa dwa actors
ndi bisaba cyo
baleta akasajja neka simanyi koleje yawe ku TV yawe kangegeje bakane nkuvumba kidekabula Mirundi esatu nga company la watu.
Okay.
Jangu kwe semenya mvude muka we must reform the media. These are bunches. This is a bunch of illiterates who invaded Museveni yagamba ko nakolumu. The journalists were fishermen who wanted to take advantage of my freedom. Ngandese mirembe. This is a bunch we need to reform. Okay. But swaza.
Ngama na mauli aba.
Bali sakase. Bali abadde lisuze mbwezi bali sakasi bali bikaze je yavumye omuserikali njagenda yomba labe no balaba
bani
abasika njagenda mbalabe
mukomere je
byavumye kandi ovumye nyoka yakukuzo
Tamale bananga kazi ngali yakunyiziza nnyo atulisa ekyaba kiyita the history of media in Uganda, a case of a snake in a cooking pot, an essential handbook for students of mass communication and journalism. Ndiko page ya birimo mwenda waliwo mtoba gweta politics in media we matani kirao politics in media ekyaba kigamba bwekiti. Some journalists are actually politicians. They use the media as a launch pad for political aspirations. At its inception, the Monitor had enormous public goodwill as a voice of the voiceless. Before starting it, the resignation and its directors from Weekly Topic had been prompted by an issue that concerned the ordinary persons. As senior editors, they boldly stepped into the rough showed about the King of Buganda. Their last controversial article in the Weekly Topic was thus: Kabaka Mutebi was evicting people from the land on land in Entebbe. Gule waliteka mwelio. Kabaka agoba abantu kutaka Entebbe.
Which was true.
Chali kitufu.
Bashi ntumusokere nga bagala politics opportunistically. Weekly Topic ebajigalawo. What a vibrant newspaper.
Weekly Topic.
Yes.
Weekly Topic mjukira nange. It could have been true, but it didn't go well. It didn't go down well with the owners of the paper. These were Chintumsoke, Bidandi Sali, and Chirunda Chive Jinja. All senior ministers in government, Chintumsoke and Bidandi Sali, meanwhile, were eyeing political constituencies as the country's politics was getting competitive. Chintumsoke was reading himself to square off with Buganda's former Katikiro, Mayanja Nkanji, while Bidandi Sali was going through a reinvention process, having been portrayed as being anti-Buganda earlier on as a youth. The government position on this state of affair was not to antagonize Mengo because they were allies in both political multi-party system of government. The NRM then needed Mengo in order to consolidate itself. At its time, Chintu was leading a delegation from government in negotiations with Mengo. Therefore, the Monitor initially gained affection of the masses. However, the paper managers blundered. They failed to be objective even on a single government policy issue. Indeed, senior editors assigned themselves to role to groom future leaders of the country. They unjustifiably fought government and lost in the battle. They promoted Wafula Ogutu, the paper's pioneer editor-in-chief, to physically engage in political fray in the Forum for Democratic Change. It is not strange for a journalist to join politics, but for Ogutu's case, it was clearly out of frustration and failure by those he groomed. In politics, there are no fools. With whatever action one takes, others watch it with extraordinary concern. As moderators pursued an anti-government sentiment or anti-government sentiments, other parties were watching. Politics is like a homestead. Late in the night, every member is assumed to be dead asleep. However, it's upon the presumption that attempts to tiptoe stealthily, he could be surprised to find out that he is not the only one awake. Monitor started strongly, but overestimated their influence. Instead of consolidating their newly gained leadership niche, They engaged in fighting popular government and ended up ruining their enterprise. Another journalist cum politician was Henry Gombia. Gombia attempted fighting the Obote government as a BBC stringer. I witnessed an incident where he helped young boys, kadogos, linked to one of the guerrilla groups who camouflaged as students in school uniform, armed with school identity cards, but on a clandestine mission. Occasionally in a press conference, Obote could single out Gombia as one he loved, as one who loved the dollar more than his country. Gombia did not benefit from what he fought for. After the assassination of Andrew Kayira at his residence, Gombia fled to the United Kingdom. He was later implicated in the murder of Kayira. Another case is The Citizen. It was the official mouthpiece of the opposition Democratic Party. It was, however, a claim that The Citizen was Milton Obote's favorite due to its wide information coverage. Its editors, the late Chigundo and the late Wagaba Sekweyama, ono yatavanga mukomera bulikasera. Wagaba Sekweyama si yali editor wa Munansi. Era
Nika Koza Bawa Muliagonja.
John Kakoza.
Somebody was asking me, but Kakoza is your friend. Why do you quarrel with the why you're going? I have no quarrel with the Muliagonja, but they are used and dumped.
Muliagonja Yavayo. Okay. It's entered the late Chigundu, the late Wagaba Sekweyama, and John Kakoza were constant attack targets for the president. This phenomenon made the paper more popular. Media consumers always wanted to know in advance what the next attack in line would be about. However, this collision with the head of state made it risky for the paper to conduct business, especially with the publishers. Most of the printing businesses, including one owned by John Sebanachi's store, a chicken from doing business with the Citizen. At one stage, the publication was printed inside a moving vehicle. Munansinga mmotoka wemecho wanengamba nti kichuza Tamale Mirundi chicho nsomene mu kitabo kyo. The vehicle was fitted with a generator and it used to run on a portable printer. The paper's demise came when Semogerere and other DP leaders joined the NRM shortly after the 1986 takeover. In Kenya, the media elated by the donor community for President Daniel Arap Moi to install Mwai Kibaki. They spent 5 years fighting for Kibaki's ascension to power. However, the very people who helped him to get to power instigated his downfall. The same fate would have befallen Raila Odinga had he won the 2007 elections. The case of the Kenyan media can be referred to as suffering from the Monta syndrome. They assume to have a clout to create Kenyan leaders. This has constantly turned them into vulnerable targets for successive governments. The danger with journalists indulging in politics is that their chances are high for them to turn into mercenaries. Once that happens, they relinquish credibility. It's therefore wiser to stick to professional roles. Baganda say, if a wife provokes a husband into a quarrel, she must prepare her cheeks for a strike. Nicole Machiavelli says that once a prince gains power, he must eliminate whoever helped him along the way. This is meant to stop them from claiming an equal slice of the cake or blackmail him in the future. It's possible too that they will extend a similar service to his enemy. Therefore, it gives credence to making them prime targets of destruction in the consolidation process. Hence, media practitioners should draw a clear line between politics and journalism. Machiavelli mainly spoke about politics. He must have many students who will not hesitate to eliminate journalists come politicians upon assumption.
The journalism afuse springboard to politics.
Ayagala kugenda by'obufuzi.
Agenda mu mawulire.
Asokera mawulire.
Bwabera ku era ne gundi yabikolanga. Mbaziro. Tojokera Bashir nti yali era atwala ekiwandiiko bamukubeti ya gas. Kati yagenze mu parliament.
Omuntu abera no kunaga nti abesalama batumidde. Mzeseka kula mwizija.
Kati ino bawulamu. Ekyokubiri katembarization. Journalism is not katemba. media babagamba gobo yagala kukola radio eri successful funa yaba katemba bana. Entertainment is at the lowest level.
Kubanga radios kosanga omwana w'emyaka 18 nayagala kwogera nga mukadde w'emyaka 8. Katembarization.
Tebalina na issues teyasoma. Omuntu atatuukako mu university, your level of analyzing issues is low. I'm telling you,
analyzing a budget.
Kuja Kongo in exposure ya amanyi. Analyzing a budget ngo analyzing ngo balaba nga babo. So much. Ogenda laba abemu pinga balina program gye bali konga n'abaliko abuze. What they talking about babimanyi.
Ngana modote tamanyi.
Yes.
Ne modote tamanyi.
Kakati laba.
Nago na dempulira ngo lyaka amasomero. Youth livelihood fund ya mana. I know ya chogeddeko nempulira modote gwensubira okukiri party.
Ni form.
Kirove chonale.
Ni form.
Honorable ya kalonde.
Moderator inokwanga ali knowledgeable. Yesterday was
nempulira ne moderator mwanu kulane ngati.
Yesterday nageze n'okwalonga ne moderator ne mugamba. My program is different from a weekly review program. Kolabo bikola. Niyo malete chika 15 wabadde kino wabadde. This is not a weekly review program. You organize your weekly review. My program is not a weekly review. You consume chika 15. Saba secha kabaka documentanta wetwa sebufu bwango. Uyasoma muri tumuli zero. You cannot dramatize news. News is news.
Yes. Tamale. Checkbook journalism. Agamba what? This is where journalists are introduced to. Are induced to doctor stories, and this practice is very prevalent in Uganda. In fact, the first item journalists attend to at public functions is to list down the names of those in attendance and submit it to the organizers for inducements. Interestingly, the organizers make it part of the budget. On many occasions, squabbles arise from these inducements, and the rap between the organizers and the journalists. It was noted earlier that before the advent of the NRM, journalism was despised. Practicing the profession was referred to as Ogwabo Rugambo, or by occupation for rumor mongers. The stereotype would however change over the years with the media institutions falling into the hands of young and highly educated people. These own expensive property like any other in Uganda. They are not paupers like their predecessors. They are part of the intelligentsia and the middle class. As a result, they have become arrogant considering their status. They apply blackmail and intimidation tactics. A corrupt system gives media power and influence in matter of a corrupt system gives media power and influence in matters of governance because public officials keep skeletons in their cupboards. Unlike many African countries, Uganda has gone through a unique and turbulent history. What is new in other countries is not necessarily new in Uganda. For example, Uganda has experienced the tyranny in a mean era and the barbarism of the highest order, which saw many lives of Ugandans lost anyhow. People would be walking on the streets in the morning and bump into relatives' bodies along the pavements without prior knowledge of how the victims ended up there. Obote soldiers raped women in front of their husbands and children during the 1980s. It is the country where Joseph Kony chopped people's lips and strapped padlocks onto disfigured parts of the body. It's a place where rebels cooked people in pots. It is where this has happened. Isn't all this news? Not anymore in Uganda. History has shaped perceptions of Ugandans in a unique way. It's a traditional belief that a father with many girls loses interest in. It is a traditional belief that a father with many girl children loses interest in sex. The reason is because the father is regularly exposed to this innocent young girl's nakedness and act of seduction in all you lose interest. Since what makes news in Uganda, since what makes news in other countries doesn't do the same in Uganda, editors must strike their heads to get the selling story angle. Unlike in the other countries where newspapers and magazines boost sales on hard news and intellectual analysis, Ugandan tabloids sell more with human interest stories, and they often rely on gossip. This is because the society gets tired of more serious stuff.
And bedroom affairs. Sikuganti analysis. Yes.
Botandika kati okudda abantu nobatera ku analysis awo COVID vaccine
nti abagenzo kwenda loko yalemeddemu ne Museveni n'alangirira nti buli district egenda kufuna tractor kiki ekisinga okutunda
mwami bamugemerere atula mu ntebe y'omwotudde buli bakuna naye luli yagenda n'atugamba ekintu n'agamba nti singa bakusanga ng'otudde n'ekitabo kyo kati nga ng'olina w'otudde ng'osoma n'okubuuza tebakufaako naye singa bakusanga ng'okuta omuntu ettaayi amawulire gonna gagikukuba
anti
twakugamba nti n'agamba nti
abaganda bakugamba ti a man who produces many daughters loses interest in sex. Why? These younger kids, these younger girls expose their nakedness every now and then. Kakati kitegeeza nti this man ayina abaana abawala abangi abayamanyira abanaza akola. That's why women are very strict. Ti abaana baabwe baba beenaaliza kola ki. Kakati ffe mu nsi omuli amirambo gye twasangawo waliwo omusajja agwandika n'agamba nti yali mu basi n'omwana we ku mulembe gw'oboti n'agamba jjajja laba omulambo omulala. Ffe omuntu nga yafudde ku kyalo nga tetufuluma bweru ssaawa emu ng'ekkuba eriko amalaalo tetuyita kugenda kuziika. We feared. Naye noga egindi eno enammanve abantu baalirayingangawo oyo eyafudde bwemunoonya ali mu ssaati ki. This is why I don't want this to happen under Museveni. Nti era bw'obatunuulira era abo bannagundi General Narwesa namuweereza message ndoza yasooka kukkiriza nti nze omuga you have blundered. Why don't you allow this woman the spokesperson tobiteekamu sigweyogera gwe tukumanyi mu State House ne president yenyini at times
mu briefing
omukyalo lyayogere
Flavia
at times ne president afuna ekizibu. The boxer was killed by security forces. Where are they?
Zebra Mando.
Where are they?
President achogera kwa mistake.
President n'agamba nti nze I've taken over investigations ku Mwagala. Nakuba essimu n'agamba nti omuzzukulu bamusse. How can the president talk over investigations n'alemwa? Chikutegeeza ti Museveni buli lwayingira mu kintu baagala bamukubiremu. In fact, if the president did not intervene in Magala's case, yali badde mulamu. Naye ekiyingira munoga tumufunye katumubattule. Yes, president n'agamba nti bannange abantu abafiiridde mu riots we should consider them for Bukedde n'agamba nti abenganda z'abafudde banikudde Museveni tetwagala ssente zo. Lwaki Museveni kyayogera ekyo kiba kibi
bw'aba tannakyo twabagize.
Lwaki Museveni ye kyayogera n'akireeta Bukedde ekyekikuba media ekikuba mubi basente baziganye who has ever paid people who die in riots nti European Union kakati nti mbabuulira ndaba obuvuko obuvuma nalabye ne mukwano gwange bya Ruhanga ng'awandika let me tell you
Moses Ruhanga
the whole thing boils to one thing. We have not built a serious diplomatic core because if the European Union unanimously passed a resolution to cut off aid, where was the Ugandan defense before the decision was taken? Representative waffe mu European Union, one of the strong nze newunyiza twagenda mu European Union nga president ayogera nabo nga mikwano ki. What has changed? Baba gambe ekigambo kimu 5 years ago. We have observed your elections, improve this.
Era report by
era bane bagamba bwe bebe temubi improve nze fe tetujja kujja. Naye nga tebayina magezi aba basajja babikola. First of all, an observer does not have powers to nullify. Two, even if I say you police the observers come, there is a security yakubatwala wa waliwo covid waliwo ki
Tetujja kuba bugenda.
Oba mu kibuga obawa. Abaagana. Nola bamusajja kakati mu nsi yonna. Once you see European Union, the next person is going to be Commonwealth. The Americans are going to cut off aid. What will happen? Abasomesa bajja kwediima. Abasirikale batandika okubba n'abantu. The government will collapse. Nolwekyo Kenya, Ruto and his deputy were indicted. How come? Nti bamobilizing ensi yonna ne bakiyitako. Kenya had a serious diplomatic call. Ne baga nti mumuyina diplomatic mumuyina senior diplomat wana ali ogu. Ayebali.
Adonia.
What happened to others?
Adonia Yebari.
Yes,
Adonia Yebari kati
diplomatic economy for the civil service. If you consider China as one of the serious partner in your economy, how come that you take it there Chionga? Who doesn't want to stay there?
Tell you.
In China you need a serious diplomat. European Union you need a serious diplomat.
Chionga is a ininga na Karuru. Maega.
Yes.
Abu Dhabi.
Omusajja wa Ethiopia asaba bamekanga lwayisaba ba secessionist.
Abiy Ahmed.
Yes. Naye ayina media.
Abiy Ahmed ayina
media abantu bagira yeye.
Bageza kuvuma mundo
nti kubana abamawuli abavulu nkupe ebifaananyi ebyo nga babirabye n'obibagulako tebabireeta odabirabako
kubanga ekiri wa Abiy Ahmed na kikula kusaba.
But how do you control? What type of spin doctors do you have? Omanyi nti Museveni akasajja ako kalaba kakati baddira ebintu ebyo ne babikuba mbu Museveni abawe sente ati waliwo omuntu wa Museveni naye alimu ebajjagala omumbejja yatomera nasanyawo obwakabaka nze nakawande omumbejja yatomera nasanyawo obwakabaka ebintu byangu nnyo kakati kankubuuze finally ogamba otya nti bwe ntajja kutambula mu kibuga covid mungi nga the other day the president launched a chua omukazi n'atuula wali kubanga bye 4 billion this one kills the other if we launch a chua omukazi mbwadivaiza nabba 4 billion yes kino kifudde kati kigenze tokyakiddamu ekya covid mwakoze chua n'atuula wali okoze ekigwe mukazi gwe atuula wali n'atuuza president mbu wakoze chua waligereza kubaki bwatasobola nakola ddagala lyankwa bwakala eddagala lya chua mu nsi yonna n'atuula wali abo babbye 4 billion bazibye badduse yes kakati bwe mwamu mwasazewo okubba 4 billion nemulonkinga eddagala lya covid chua don't talk about covid again because you have the chua ate abaana b'essomero bwe mwagaba okufuna embuto ate bazaala batya
nga mwabateekamu
if you castrate men how can I at the same time finance the largest maternity ward in the country mitwe ekigino bakazi mitwe ekigino
message ino wano mujebale basebo bravo Tamale Mirundi thank you security knows nobody identity cards can be forged that's why invitation cards are emblemed with security codes.
Why should I European Union? Why did the European Union people allow them inside?
Exactly. Two.
Yes. Why did they allow them inside to write around? Yes. Baba tuba inopa kwa utoka huko. Esuwana ni shuvuma. Bamusakata chibo kwa naze matira. Bamusakata chibo kwa naze matira. Esuwana shuvuma echo.
Okay, Mirundi is very right because doing the work of spin doctor to protect the image of the military and the police is very important.
Yes.
Stephen Kasoro, Ali Kamuli.
But you must be highly intelligent.
And of course,
you must be to be a spin doctor. You must be highly intelligent.
Muhezi Ali Mengo, akwebaza agambye ono muhezi mkwano gwange, akwebaza nnyo agamba Tamale over the program, n'agamba nti akasajja koyogera kako ku radio bakayita Richard erinnya eddala ndoozo ne kagati akainsight inciting
ebama mukolenga abebama naye abebama nekadduka kasoma birango byabafu kali ku mikolo gyambaga kali mikolo gya nyimba but the boy for 2 hours incite the population lwacho nanyeni sawuli kano kagonde kane bukuba nebuli kabasasanya twaze mu bantu ekesi tujijemba. Yes, let me ask you, Bobby, there is no reason. There is no reason why Bobby Wine can reject our judges. They are vetted by Parliament, has been a member of Parliament. Two, Bobby Wine is a product. Bobby Wine is a product of a decision by court. Court declared the by-election which he benefited him. Lava.
Sotaina wa mabwa.
Ngo yozira wonti mukubatia gas na brain na nyene buyinza yatugobate tuli kola mu government endala mu azali. Yes.
Bobby Wine court ye muleta.
Anti fetutula butulizo wetu. Yes.
Zezarulinga nezigoba county.
Mbaga ndi reverse psychology. He wants to criticize abalamuzi basali mu his favor. Let him tell us. Tibabasala mu favor ajachigana.
Banaba bachali ba
government bwe basalira government y'abantu abalamuzi b'abatuufu. Yes,
bwe basinga abalamuzi b'abamuseka
katulebe gwe babadde bawana tabeeranga ko minisita wa president
yaliko na
Kanyama gwe bawana yajja minisita wa kamasi n'avuma abantu wana abalamuzi nti basoma nsamisi. I know all of these people munajjawo abatabeerangako amako lwaki temwamuganyawo kwolwo ate President Sialonda Balamuzi is assumed chairman of the Judicial Service Commission. Where is somebody to explain this to the public? That it will just assume
that Bobby Wine I got to quit a president. Yet a Judicial Service Commission. Why I got to quit a president?
Nabagamba into opposition Mutembe. Umutembe yabasanga mu bus. Nga mulimu n'omwana w'omusikazi batwala wamu n'abokola ku disa n'amulaga erindazi n'akaaba yeyiziro ziyusaiti omwana akaaba oyina omusirisa mama erindazi naye omusikazi amuzibaze omutembe yafaayo lolo ya opposition.
Bobby
Wine tabafaako. You have to prepare a team that counters Bobby Wine. Naye abali ku Museveni ne Kanagisi yabaddemu. Kanagisi mu meeting eno eyo muzungu nazinyoma zinanga ndaba Kanagisi kakati mukwano kwe Kitutu mugambe Kitutu yabadde mu meeting nga bateesa okubba sente za $7 million za dola yabadde ayambadde ne gundi anti mu video mbalaba kamutuuseeko dda katuusedde embuga
kani
mwabadde mu baminisita babiri akatambi
okutuuka ku president
babadde
yegendereza
babbe million 4 za dola nga ayambadde gundi bwati I'm not COVID gundi nenga taddeko ne gundi masiki bwati mukulageko Kitutu omanyi Kitutu yagamba nze kyemukubira mbunjagala ono Madam Kavi tomumanyano yategeka abo obubina
mungoma
yagamba kyemukubira
balina omugolugane ne mungoma
anti bavuganya wamu nze nsasula laavu
kakati mbugo oli ku mungoma
nze mungoma tulina wetusisinkana mu kifu naye mungoma baawa amanyi naye mumanyi
kakati nze Kitutu mukwano gwange nange Kitutu mutasize kunze
Kitutu bamukola ku ate kagenze
Kitutu ye minister yekagwe tulina
akatambi omukulu wa Kamale nga batudde
naffe Kitutu ye minister
era mu mawulire ebibaddemu mu manager miso yabajjirira. Yes, Misho yajja. Misho yajja.
Atuliriza atwagala okwebaza.
Bama lwacho ya nze nkuba. Era nga baje. Twagenze mu koti y'abantu. Fe twagenze mu koti. How can somebody incite the public for 3 hours?
Ngabenge mtuliriza. Dembe ya mtu Tamale. Era
omuntu gwesaba Katonda waffe gwe nasabe waffe kusanga akasajja kabayita Kaseremba. Hadda ku radio nika nayo wentu kwatira Seremba
Jime
ako kamanyi
Kaseremba Jime
Katonda akola abantu umanyi Seremba Seremba
tuyamuulire
omutwe gwe gwali kabina era guli bwekuti katonda nadira akabina n'akateekamu amaaso kati olunyafa yennyini kabina kennyini naye kafuma
seremba jimesimu maisi
mulagwanga seremba gwe embwa yesemalebege ne budde okwo ne bwogera ezinebukiriza sigenda osimeka buliyo nagamba okakwata naye bwe ndikakwatya kubanja kafa mabeka gwe tekaliko kolimanga nkamanyi kaseremba nkugambye nti wakatunulya omutwe gwako zaali enyuma bbiri katonda yeddi akabina akabina oba baali baloko n'akawummulamu amaaso era nze muteeke etteeka mu palamenti tibannange ababba nga bazinazikozesa mu society ebazireete balimizikweka balina amakuti yaga ssente
tuzikolemu ebintu mu society tuzimba amalwaliro tuzimba amasomero
yabba ssente mu gavumenti ya Nigeria Obasanjo najja naga nti tugende mu kooti bagenda mu kooti emirundi ena kooti ng'etudde nga koota bagibbi Obasanjo naga kontutule tugabane
kubanga zigwera mu kooti
bana basajja ngenda bakolera ekintu kyabo
tuyagala ekintu ali by surprise
asagala ekintu sagala mugambe nti ate bamuguze ani n'okuyamba abantu bano sente ze bayina zibeere ku production
kiri ekyokubayiribya tubateeke kabangali
mwana wange ate bano tebaliimu abanene mukutta abantu tebaliimu abakulu tebaliimu naye buno entebe ya Musadamu batemane balwana entebe ya Musadamu balwana weka walaji nga akankana bwati weka walaji nende bakanagisinga naye mwali entebe ya Musadamu batemane balwana tujja abakazi bato tujja bawasa kuba baana bato
batabani bondoze bawasa
kati bakazi baabwe babayigiriza okulya ku makoloni babayigiriza okusulako okwogera oluzungu lwabali abapulizoni era nze ngenda kubagamba ono omuzungu eyazze tiimu ebadde wano babaleeteyo omuzungu chefu abafumbire emmere gye bagenda okulya
anti bagalagiriranga
omupakisani bamusiba emyaka 7
naye bagalagiriranga wa
kyenjogadde kitegedde nze ndi buloka ndi ntebe ku kisaawe entebe amusadamu batembane balwana